Welcome to Season 2 of Let This Mind podcast. Come along on the journey with us as three therapists discuss mental health topics from a biblical perspective. We're talking about themes like boundaries, grief, trauma, and how to let our minds be healed and whole. Because mental health isn't new. It's just finally being heard. Direct hit.
Direct hit.
So weird hearing my voice all the time.
Yeah, hit the direct of the hit. It's awesome. It's wonderful. I think it just gives us a good way to start every episode. Like it's a direct hit. What we're talking about is going to pierce the heart. It's going to pierce the mind, and it's going to help. So, hello everybody. Welcome to episode 4 of Let This Mind podcast. We are here to make sure that we are functioning well mentally, spiritually, emotionally, and all the things in between. I am Steph Jones, also known as Lilac Calandra. I'm a marriage and family therapist and also a mindfulness life coach who has still taken a vow to make sure that people know, I'm going to say it every episode, that healing, we don't have to wait till we get to old Zion in that great getting up morning in the upper room. It can happen now. Healing can happen. So I'm going to let my lovely co-hosts introduce themselves, and we're going to jump right into the episode.
All right. Well, Dominique Jones here. I am a clinical social worker, and I am, like I always say, the therapist that you can see on every corner, church, home, school. I'm going to bring the healing to you. There is no reason for you not to have the healing and the support. So that is what I am. And of course, I'm happy to be here with you two lovely ladies.
Yes.
Hey y'all, Jermaine Harrison here, licensed mental health counselor. I am the bridge. I am the compass. I am the safe space for your teenagers and young adults. This is what we do. This is why we're here. And I'm glad, of course, to be here with these lovely brown melanated
My.
ladies. Hello.
All the things. Come on. All the things.
All of it.
All the things. Awesome. So, it's the holiday season. We know that Thanksgiving really starts to roll into, holidays. We're talking about Thanksgiving. We're talking about Christmas. So we really just wanted to take a moment to address some of the emotions and feelings. Like this is a very honest podcast where we're talking about the emotions and feelings that can arise when we think about the holidays, and given an admonition that you might feel your body being a little more anxious, being a little more stressed, and you might be wondering why. Well, we're here to kind of reveal why those things could be happening. So we're going to be talking about family feuds and holiday blues, wrapping in the grief of the holiday season, the boundaries we need to have, and what it looks like for us to have a healthy holiday season. No matter who is acting a fool, Pookie and them, Auntie, no matter who's acting a fool, we can still have a healthy holiday season. Okay.
Yes. Oh, yes.
So really jumping into it, what does it look like for us to begin to address some of those feelings that we feel around the holidays? Like a lot of feelings happening. What do we do to kind of to make sure that we're balanced and we're kind of coasting on a even keel?
Yeah. Well, number one, I think that for sure, it's already stressful because you have to you got to work with people. Sometimes you got to work with people and plan food and all these different amazing things. And it comes with a lot because you have to deal with people that you normally would have been trying to maybe avoid, or it just comes with so much expectation. It comes with, two extremes, right? One extreme may be, man, I have to actually deal with this person. And another extreme is kind of like the expectation of people making you feel like you kind of have to deal with these people.
Right.
So I think either way you look at it, we need to address both. But I think it just starts off with acknowledging that when we get together on the holidays, it can be good, it can be bad. There are going to be some cousins that maybe you don't get along with. There are going to be some family members that just, it's just not your cup of tea, and vice versa. Some people, you're not their cup of tea, but the point is that it is a time where we all come together and we can take that power back in knowing what we want in these holiday seasons now and moving forward. What do we want? I think that's the real issue, not really dwelling on what it has been or what it could be, but what do we want and how are we going to make that happen? How will we make that manifest, if we want to use that word very loosely? Manifest.
Well, in the real way.
Right, in the
We're
real
using
way.
this in the right way.
Exactly, right. What are we going to do to make sure that these things happen? Healthy family ties during these holiday seasons. I think that is kind of like where I'm going with it in my mind.
Yeah, I think the main thing for me is this type of anxiety and heaviness that some of us feel, because it's like, well, I got to put my mask on. Where's my mask at? I
Yep.
put it away like 360 something days ago.
Yep.
Didn't find her, because it's hard. Like when you have to deal with, and I say deal with because I know that sounds kind of not so positive, but sometimes dealing with family, it's a thing, and it causes
Yes.
us to have these internal, like, do I even want to go? If I do go, how am I going to show up? Am I mentally ready for all of these questions of where's your man, when you having kids, what's this?
Right.
It's like, hold on, y'all, like, can I get my plate first before we start diving into these
Mhm.
I need to know kind of questions? And it's hard and it's heavy because, like, there's so many other days in the year that we can address these familial problems, but for whatever reason, a lot of people wait until the holidays. Like, you know what? I always wanted to say this to you, and it's like, are we not family? Do you not have my number? Why couldn't we talk about this before? Like,
Right.
and so we have these masks on, and we need to learn how to take those off and be real and give ourselves permission to feel what we feel and to be who we are unapologetically.
I agree.
Yeah, I think that's the thing, the permission, right? That we don't necessarily have to engage in toxic behavior, even if we walk into a house and we see it. And just navigating what taking off the mask looks like for us. We're not focused on other people, because people are gonna people, and family is going to family. We talked about this in our pre-meeting. People are going to be who they are no matter what. No, if you have 365 days and you know that Thanksgiving happens around the same time every year, and you haven't healed and you haven't taken the time to forgive and open your heart to just change and all that, yes, you are going to walk into auntie's house, nana's house, big mama's house. You're going to walk up those steps, you're going to walk in that door ready to rumble, ready to just pop off on everybody, right? Because you have a bone to pick, right? So even before the turkey is sliced, even before the scooped up, we're already getting into fights and picking stuff. It is us. It's not them.
Right.
It's us. And even if someone is trying to pick a fight with us, right, that we don't have to put on the mask of I'm gonna adopt what you're doing. But no, we can step back and say, I don't have to fall into this. This is not where I have to go. That's difficult though. And
Yeah.
and so go ahead.
No, that is very much difficult. It's very much difficult, especially when you don't do the work, right? Like I think, like they said, if we're waiting for that year, that time of year, um it has been a whole year of you holding something in, letting it stew and marinate. Like, I mean, it got all the seasoning, it got all the juices. So now when this holiday comes and now you see them, you are so, guns are blazing, like you are so ready to let it all out, and that is in turn not healthy. And I think it comes with a certain level of like forgiveness that has to happen amongst, right? We've talked about generational trauma, we've talked about just all these different things that we've talked about, and I think that when we start to look back on it, people have valid reasons to want to avoid, having those conversations, and wanting to avoid the family gatherings and things like that. But I always look at it as like opportunities. So let's say, every once in a while, even if you do have a little gathering or something, or if you have a little phone call, those things they really help to be preventative, so that when you are getting it together at grandma's house or the big house or whatever house, so that you can have these, healthy moments and just moments of fun. Like, I don't feel like every time you meet, it should be a moment of just dun dun dun. Like, it shouldn't be every time I'm with my family, it's dun dun dun. Like, I don't
Right.
want that. I want it to be happy and light and feel good. So now if you're going into it, and let's say you didn't have those conversations before, you didn't have that moment, I think now the time would be to make a decision. And as I said to you guys before, just make a decision, your decision and your commitment to show up to this family function in a new way. Like,
Mhm.
do not show up with the same mindset. Don't show up looking for the same problems. Don't show up looking for, her to mess up on the mac and cheese. Like, don't show up looking for that, but show up in the way that you want to see your family. If you
Yeah.
want to see your family whole and fun, and oh man, I can call my family, I can pick, then we have to show up that way. We have to show up that way. We have to challenge, that perception that you can't, because you can. It may be difficult, but you can show up. You can choose to do that this holiday season. That is an
Yeah.
option.
For
Yeah. I
sure.
mean, what I really hear you saying is that we have to model the behavior that we want to see.
Yes.
And that we, right, not the mac and cheese, because I mean,
No, because
I,
y'all know y'all
I,
be talking about people mac and cheese.
I hope that was
Okay.
I hope that was just a random example. I mean, hopefully
Yeah,
on
don't mess
Thanksgiving,
up.
no one's about to
I
be
ain't
like,
gonna lie
"Oh,
now.
what
Don't
you
don't
say
mess up.
about my mac and cheese?"
That's
Don't mess up
I
with mac
fired.
and cheese, y'all. Don't
I
mess up.
hope nobody's
Let me
ready to rumble
look.
with
Y'all need
you
to take
on Thanksgiving.
take the year to practice your mac and don't come to our holiday functions with your mac and cheese not
Yeah, and
not
this is not the
tried
time to test
by the
out.
spirit.
This is not the time to test out dishes. That's
Right,
what I'm hearing
right.
you say too.
Praise the Lord.
So
Right.
it's really professional development everywhere.
Yes,
Take the year to do professional development on
right.
yourself,
And
on
the mac
your
and cheese.
culinary dishes that you professionally develop the mac and cheese,
Yes, yes, yes,
sweet
yes.
potato pie, pound
Uh-huh.
cake.
Uh-huh.
We want it to taste like Nana's, and it's not.
Right.
So
Yeah.
but in all
Mm-mm.
seriousness, it gives us an opportunity every year to develop ourselves, and a lot
Yes.
of us miss it. And this is what we're talking about, the family feuds. A lot of us miss it
Yeah.
because we want to hold on to the past. We want to hold on to the hurt, to the pain, to the shame, to the guilt, to you made me feel this way. So I cannot rest until I make you feel this way too. Again, it's pointing to, it's not necessarily them, it's really us.
Personal,
that
yeah.
if we don't have the mirror looking at ourselves saying, how am I going to show up? You said it, Dominique. How am I about to show up to this event? How am I about to show up
Yeah.
to whatever, whether it's Christmas, holiday, whether it's a funeral, like all this stuff? How am I going to show up? Am I on 10?
Mhm.
Yeah. A mac and cheese. I can imagine.
Dominique gonna start some of that mac and cheese
Depending
room.
Oh,
on,
sorry, y'all.
depending on where your people come from, mac and cheese is different. So I can imagine it would be a family feud.
Uh-huh.
Runny, soupy, carrots, raisins, all different type of things. But
Yeah.
I'm sure it would be Matt. Oh, brother Matt, I'm sure there's some issues,
Right.
but
But no, but like
but
you were saying, yeah, like you were saying, I just want to say some people also try to hold on to like the drama and the chaos. Like
they
some
love
people
it.
want that for their family. Like some
They're
people,
addicted to it.
yeah, like some people like to model, and I hate to use this, but it is what it is. Some people like to model like that BET Tyler Perry,
Ghetto. Yep.
move, like they want that to be their story. They
Mhm.
want that to be their life so that they can run back and be like, oh my gosh, this is why. And oh,
Yes.
did you know?
Yes.
And like, no, because what can I do to make sure that I'm showing up in a different way? Show up in a different way, be you. And I think that speaks to, again, what May was saying. You have to be you, on like just the unadulterated you, because that you that shows up may be something different that someone never saw before. It
Definitely.
may be, it may come to break a little bit, or I don't want to say break, just influence the culture a little bit more, right?
Yes.
So now someone comes in and everyone's used to yelling at each other in an argument. Now you have someone that's like, look, I'm not going to yell with you guys today. Okay. But if we can have a conversation like this, we can keep talking.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
that might change something. You may never know. They may scream at you still for a little bit,
Right.
but afterwards they may come to you to the side while they eating the mac and cheese that y'all made real good, and it changed everybody's spirit. And they're gonna talk to you, and they're gonna say, you know what, you were so right. I did not need to yell like I did. And that
Mhm.
just that little seed is being planted just because
Little
your
seed.
healthy version of you chose to show up.
And
Yeah.
this is a personal thing, right? Like we keep talking about, how us Black folks are. If you're not of this community, I'm just saying, stay with us. But like, there are people who are like, okay, but who gonna be there? Because depending on who's there,
Mm-hmm.
it's the difference between me showing up and me not showing up. And
My
then,
God.
like Dominique said, which version of me is going to show up? And I think that's a part of removing that mask is we all have a representative that shows up, right?
Yeah.
We have a representative that shows up at work. We have a representative that shows up around family. We have a representative that shows up in other areas. And it's like, this code switching thing doesn't just exist when we enter into predominantly white or professional spaces.
Yeah.
We code switch quite often, if you want
Yeah.
to be
Yes.
honest. And
Yes.
that's just another form of trauma. You have to check how you showing up. You're policing your own behavior. You're
Yeah.
policing your own words because you are so consumed with, well, I don't want to trigger this one and I don't want to do that one. And I don't want to. And it's like, if we are doing our due diligence for the other 363 days of the
Yeah.
year to make sure that I'm getting healed of whatever it is that family may or may not have impacted or influenced or done to me,
Yeah.
then when I show up at the family gathering, I'm showing up differently. So regardless of who, Pookie and them, or everybody got that Uncle Charles that show up, regardless of who is there, a better version of you is there. So you're going to respond differently, and hopefully they will respond different to you. But if we just keep, I think what we do and what we don't acknowledge is we'll come in there and be like, all right, let me get myself together. We walk into the building, we do the thing, and then all the baggage that we done came in the room with, we're like, all right, see y'all next year, and put it back on. At
That's it.
some point, we got to be healed and let this stuff go. Because
Yeah.
if we do not let it go, we're just going to keep holding on to it and keep showing up like that bad lady that Erica Badu sang about. We're just going to keep carrying it every single every place we go.
That's
And
it.
at some point, it's like, aren't y'all tired of carrying around the same stuff year after year after year?
Yeah.
Like releasing these things.
Yeah.
And it takes self-reflection. It takes that moment to say, like, self, and talking to yourself. Myself said, and we said together that we got to do something different because it can't keep year after year doing this. And
Yeah.
I don't want to avoid family all because this code switching thing that I have to do. It's like, or I'll just be me, but you're going to get a different version of me, not a representative self, but self.
Yeah.
Yeah. And nobody wants to have to put on a different self each time. That there is nothing freer and there is nothing better than being able to go into a space and be yourself authentically. With
Yes.
all the things and ups, downs, little quirks, all that. There is nothing better and there's nothing more healing and freeing. And the other thing too, Dominique, I think you were saying this, like we wait until the holidays to get together. No, we do need to have those little interval times
Yeah.
because then people can actually know who you are. When we put on a mask, because we're right here in this with you, and there's been plenty of masks that I know that I put on. Your family never truly knows who you are, so you're a stranger to them, and then you wonder why it's like, oh, who are you? You think you're better than someone, or you're different? You haven't even allowed anyone to evolve, to
Yeah.
change. We keep our family members in a box. And that's little Steffi, and that's hey Janelle, that's little Steffi, and that's no, that's not right. That we should be able to evolve into who we need to be. And every single time we come around, we should be able to take a layer of the mask off and off and off and off. And then you can see who I really am. And then it won't be a shock to your system when I've changed. Family is so shocked, like, oh, I didn't even know that about you. Why? I've been doing this for years. I've been this way for years. But I had to put on the mask because you can't handle who I really am.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to exist in that. So this is really the encouragement to take off the mask and to be who you are. And really it helps your family to know who you are
Yeah.
and to get who you are. So there's
Yeah.
no more pretension and there's no more fakeness.
Yeah. No, I agree. I absolutely, y'all know me. I'm very, I like to be preventative.
Mhm.
So a lot of the times what we're seeing is just people's reaction. We're seeing reactions to, oh, what they're gonna feel, what they're gonna think. Like we're seeing reaction. And I
Yep.
think if you have those little moments throughout the year, man, use this technology. Get on a Zoom call. Just jump on and just, I don't know, do something. Just talk. I don't
Yes.
even care what it is, but just do something where you're coming together. But what we were talking about too, and this is what comes up for me every time we talk about stuff like this, is we say that we value family and we say that this is something that we value, but I really wonder if people really truly understand what they're saying when they say I value family
No.
and what that means, because I really don't think, like, the times have changed. And like I was, it's like a car, like when you get a car and you get off the lot, and the value just appreciates right off rip once you get off the lot. And I feel like as time has gone on, we have lost the value. Like, family is just not appreciated the same
No.
anymore. It's just not the tradition and the culture, and just you having that community of people that are really, although maybe not like-minded, DNA is a strong thing, man. DNA is real. You may not like them, but a lot of the times you look like them. Like, you
Mhm.
cannot help that. You cannot help that. And I think we do not value it enough. We do not value family enough. So I thought about something that's tangible, and I think we can talk about it too. But I thought about something because I was thinking about this when we got off of our call, and I was like, man, it's a good question though. We tell people, like in couples counseling and certain things, businesses, and we say, you need a mission and you need a vision, and you need something that's going to showcase what your business or what your marriage is going to be about. And I think we should tell people to do the same thing with family. Like, I think, what is the mission and the vision of your family? Is it unity? Is it being together? Is it being supportive in times of good and bad? Like, what does that truly mean to you? What is family supposed to look like? What is the ultimate goal? Because if we all get on one same page
Come
and
on.
can say, this is going to be the goal, this is what we're going to look like at the end of this, then when you do show up to holiday functions, it's going to be in a different light, because now you're all going to say, hey, this is going to be a good Thanksgiving. We're not going to change it, because our goal is to make sure that we are unified at the end of this. So if there are any discussions that we need to have, we're going to talk about it. Come on, cousin, let's go. We need to talk about this, because we're not going to let these things, hold us over for a whole nother year. We're not going to let it. So everyone will spend their time and their energy and their resource to make sure that that goal of healthy units are actually being the the new wave of culture and trend. So I think, what is the mission a lot of the time for a family? What does that look like for you or anybody else? That made me think about it, because I'm about to go with my family. So I said, let me think about this, because
Yeah. I think it's perfect timing. I think it's perfect timing. And it's like, okay, what's our mission statement for our family? What's our vision statement? And here's the thing, even if no one else is carrying it out, we must carry it out.
right.
Even if no one else has subscribed, okay, we could all talk about the mission statement and this is what we want to do. Even if nobody else carries it out, we are going to carry it out, and we're going to make sure that, no, I'm going to address this. Exactly what you're saying, Malika. Like,
Yes.
there's a lot of toxicity in family, and it's hidden under the rug. And we
Yeah.
talked about this on our last episode. When you're called to be that generational curse breaker, you're
Yeah.
also called to be a voice. You're also called to be speaking about things that are very uncomfortable. And when it's not addressed, and then here's the thing, when it's not addressed, you have a choice. You can either put the mask back on, or you can just keep plowing forward and say, I'm going to live out this mission
Yeah.
statement, that this isn't just something I'm talking about. Because the only way to change these systems is to change the systems. There's no other way around it.
That's
You know what
it.
I mean? You can't go over it. You can't go under it. You can't go above it. You got to go straight through it
That's
and,
it.
and push up the system. That is what is difficult. And that it's easier to put on the mask than to
Yeah.
change the system.
Yeah. I agree.
Honestly, like I think the the real problem when you think about social media, right? I remember hearing this once and it stuck with me. Social media has allowed us to reach people from across the world, but to be untouchable to the ones close to us.
My mind.
We are conditioned to have this connectedness with people who are states over or countries over, but the ones that we are sitting at the tables with, the ones that we are connected to, it's like, I don't even know you. If it weren't for social media in Jermaine's family, if it weren't for social media, me and half of my cousins would never talk, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Now, can I hop in a car and go drive 45 minutes to go see one of them? Absolutely. Or 20 minutes? Absolutely. But social media has given us this false sense of connectedness where it's like, no, yeah, I know them. It's like, when's the last time we've had a conversation? Right. And to get to y'all's point, I think, to get on the other side of the family blues or the holiday blues part is when someone has passed away, it's really hard to make that connectedness and that closeness, because a lot of it usually is leaning on that one person, the glue of the family, to be like, y'all come here, sit down and let's talk. Again, for us, it's Big Mama. Like, Big Mama is the one who's like, y'all sit down, get your plates. We're going to get along. I don't want to hear none of this drama. I don't want to hear any of that. We're going to get it done. But once Big Mama's not there, who is taking over that legacy of Big Mama and saying, regardless of what has happened, we all are family and we need to be together. Regardless of who ain't agreeing with who, the one thing about Big Mama is that they respected Big Mama, right? They were like, I'm not going to cuss out my grandmother. Like, I like my teeth. I ain't trying to like lose it. You know what I'm saying? So out of respect, I know how to put my stuff aside and show up because Big Mama said show up, right? But once that person has gone, did they take the legacy with them? Did they take that respect and that ability to push through the family drama and actually be connected as a family? Or who has taken on the torch? Or does anybody even take on the torch?
Yeah. Who picks up the baton? And the Big Mamas and the glues of the family, much like in Soul Food, right? Where, everyone was acting up and cutting up. And the matriarch was able to gather everybody together and say, we're stronger, as a fist. These family members who could gather everybody, they recognized the importance of the family and how much the family unit is needed. And they were usually raised in the South, right? Whether they had migrated anywhere up north, Chicago, anywhere, they usually been raised with those Southern standards that come right from the continent. And I'm saying that from the continent. I can't tell you how many times I'm reminded of Southern principles while I'm here. We're talking about family, community, honoring our elders, like those in America. Those are Southern things. They didn't quite make it up north. You know what I mean? It's a wild west of
right.
But when you have the glue, you know what I mean? When you have that glue, they understood the importance of family. And the real goal is this, that the glue would pass on their glue-like nature to multiple people, that it wouldn't just be one person holding everything together. That's too much pressure. That's too much pressure on one person. That if you're the glue, if that's you, if we're speaking to you right now, if you're watching this live, if you're going to watch it later, if you're the glue, that you would, that's the real pandemic we want. Pass on your glue to other people by making them know the importance of the family. This is why I have everybody gather together. This is why I don't allow any arguments. I shut that thing down because I understand the importance of family, that there's not much that we can accomplish without family, whether it's biological family or the family we chose. We work best in a community setting, that the village, that you understand that the village doesn't just raise a child, the village raises adults too. You know what I mean? And you have to say, okay, I need the village. We talked about having the board of directors for our lives. I need that, and I can find it in my family. And so I want to be the glue. It's when that seed of hope is in your heart and you say, I understand that my family is precious to me. We're talking about depreciation. No, I don't want to drive this thing off the lot just yet because this is precious to me.
Right.
And the glue blooms in you, and then you could be the glue. And now you can have four little glue stations, not just one person.
Right.
Too much pressure for one person. It really is. It's
right. And let's not talk about the fact that Big Mama shouldn't have been the only one doing it.
Shouldn't have been.
Be honest, Big Mama shouldn't have been the one.
That's probably why she passed.
The Big Mama should have been the only one doing it. Here lies the issue. We have it in us. We have it in us to be the same love, the joy. And
Come
I was
on.
saying to you guys, I think that Big Mama, it wasn't that Big Mama was the joy or the peace or the love or the safety, but she brought a spirit where people just want, regardless of who they didn't like, regardless of who was coming or not coming, we wanted to be there because there was a certain level of respect and love and fun that was, that was just expected when we went to Big Mama's house. So but these are all spirits and things that we can now plant. It's just like when we talk about, what you have in your home or what you don't, maybe what you didn't have, you kind of bring it to your new home and you start to build your own traditions. That's how it should be. Because if that was the case, then that means we wouldn't have a lot of things, because there are a lot of Big Mamas that pass on. There's a lot of them that pass on. There's a lot of people that symbolize safe spaces for us that pass on. But the point is, they have left you something. They have left you. You know why you went to Big Mama. You know why, because you knew that although Big Mama was going to tell you about your life, you also knew that Big Mama was going to hear you. You also knew that Big Mama was going to call you next month to see just if you maybe did get rid of that boy or that girl that you were supposed to. There was something that was there that you just knew. And because we now know and have experienced that, why are we not bringing that to the family table? Why are we not bringing that to our children? Why are we not bringing that to our sibling relationships? We can bring those same things. It reminds me of Jesus. Like, Jesus was Jesus, okay? He had the Holy Ghost, he had the preaching, he had the love, the patience, the everything. But the Bible says he gave us the same spirit so that we can be going out and bringing disciples in and evangelizing. He gave us the spirit. Because if that was the case, Jesus has died and ascended, y'all. That means what? All hope is gone because he died and ascended? No, he put it inside of us so we can continue and honor the legacy, the sacrifice, what he did. I'm supposed to tell. So yeah, it starts off with Big Mama, but it's not supposed to end with Big Mama.
No,
it was not supposed to be that way. So we have it in us. We just have to show up with it. So the same way you showing up with the mac and cheese, that's gonna be good in the name of Jesus. The same way you showing up with the mac and cheese in hand, I'm gonna show up.
You mentioned mac and cheese about five.
We need to make
whoever Dominique is talking to about the mac and cheese, get your Gruyere, Gouda, sharp cheddar. Get your noodles right. Have them al dente. Get your pan together. Get your breadcrumbs. Listen. Whoever she's talking to, you better make sure that she said it 5 times.
The number of grace. Y'all got it.
Get your mac and cheese in order. Don't let her say it again. And we're gonna do a check back after Thanksgiving. We're gonna check in to see if that mac and cheese is on point.
I'm gonna give y'all a video and let y'all know if the mac and cheese is good. I'm gonna send a video out. Okay, because
enough is enough.
So while you have that in your hand, also carry with you the spirit of love. Carry with you the spirit of kindness. Carry those fruit of the spirit with you. Don't just bring the tangible food to the table. Bring the fruit of the spirit to the table so we can have a family holiday that is free of chaos. And even if there is some underlying things that need to be addressed, if you move in the spirit of God, watch how God moves. Watch the spirit start making opportunities for conversations to happen in a healthy way. Watch God move. But we have to do our part and show up with the things that he tells us to show up with: patience, love, kindness, gentleness. I mean, he tells us to show up with these things. So show up. That's not just for the people out there in the world. That's for your family, especially your family.
I'm about to say, especially your family. We often treat people in the world better than we treat our family. Absolutely. You know what I mean? Especially if we're talking about some kingdom principles. And we talk about this too. The number one attendee that we want to be at our holiday parties, we need the Holy Spirit. We need God. We need everybody come and be there, because There is nobody who can turn that heart of stone into a heart of flesh and can reconcile years and years of heartache, right? After you seen your therapist, after you talked to your life coach, after you saw your therapeutic mentor, all this, right? We talk about the treatment plan after you added all this stuff in, right?
Yeah.
We come on, Nelly, leave
Come
the
on,
spirit
leave
of
it at
offense
the door.
at the
Leave
door.
it at the door. Let me tell you what you leave. That bad mac and cheese, you leave it at the door, and then you leave the spirit of offense at the door too. Leave it all at the door.
Six
Leave
times.
it at
Leave
the
it at the door. Leave it at the door with the runny mac and cheese
Yeah,
that has
leave
no
that-
flavor and no taste.
We're gonna have to
Right.
take account as to how many times this girl
Yeah,
bring up
that's
that
six.
mac and
I got
cheese.
it. That's 6. I'm on it. 6. But no, seriously, before you walk through the threshold, there are things that should not be even passing into your family setting. That if you came in with an attitude or whatever, leave that stuff at the door, or this holiday will be turned out, and then it makes you really not want to go. And I think it's good to transition there too. That there are times when you have to decide. Let's just talk about. There are times that you have to please no, don't get her riled up, brother Matt. She's already on 20, not even 50, she's already on 20. Please, we don't need that encouragement. No, thank you. But in all seriousness, there are times when you have to decide that this family gathering is not for me anymore. That I can't. I've tried. Okay, I've tried to take off the masks. I put on 3 masks. I did this. But there's times when I just can't be here, and that's what often causes the holiday blues as well. That you're talking about. I cannot be around my biological family, that this is not a space that I can enter in anymore. We have 2 different mission statements, values, goals. I want to be here, but it is detrimental to my health. And at times we try to push through, maybe to show our strength, or if if you're in the kingdom, and what would Jesus do? We just got to push through. We try to be these good Christians and these good believers, and it's a detriment to ourselves, and we're hurting ourselves. So there are times that we have to gauge and say this is it, and that is hard, it's painful, and it does cause a lot of grief.
Like she done already went churchy on us, but y'all know she gon' bring it in. And when you think about, we ain't at the pen moment yet. We gonna get there though.
Okay, because I was ready. It's right by me. Don't worry about it.
Open up my.
Don't worry about it.
I'll pop my pen up to make sure.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
Good.
Okay. You'll signal us. Okay.
Yes,
good.
ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Growing in sickness.
Okay.
But like when you think about when Jesus has the meals with people, right? And it just reminds me of Mary, when Mary and Martha were sisters, and Martha was like, listen here, I'm over here doing the cooking and the cleaning, and I make sure everybody's comfortable, I make sure everything is right. But all Mary doing is sitting at her feet, at Jesus' feet. And Jesus is like, but she got it right though. Yeah. And if we're not careful, we get so lost in what's supposed to be happening. And it's like connectedness, y'all, is what we are missing as a culture, because of how society has taught, has unfortunately treated us. And essentially we have learned that, and we have internalized it. If we can break up the family unit, we will never be unified outside of the home. Because our first home, our first ministry, we can't even get that together. So we can't get this together. We ain't never gonna come together as a people and be unified and bring about a change. Right? The Bible talks about one accord, one mind. That's when change happens. That's when things are moving. Not when you over here focused on this thing that happened 5 years ago. You over here focused on that thing. I'm over here trying to carry things that I shouldn't be carrying anymore, because quite frankly, it's been 27 years. And it's like
27.
All of because of all of this dysfunction and separation in-house, we can never get together and feel connected again. It's just not allowed, because it is disrupted. And that's the part we have to remember. Like, I'm a part of the disruption. If I'm not healing and showing up as healed self and better self, I'm a part of the dysfunction that is. And unfortunately, dysfunction things can still function.
Yeah.
They do. Right. It doesn't stop the function. Dysfunction is functional. It's just not done in a good way. Yeah. And even what I'm hearing you say, Marius, it's about us. It's still about us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That I don't want to be a part of the dysfunction.
Mm-hmm.
Like, May, you were saying, like, we don't want to be wrapped up in a cycle, a tornado, a cyclone of dysfunction. And it's so easy to do that. If your family can be toxic and you go in there, it is hard to push against that grain. It is hard to swim against the stream. It is hard to say, I'm not going to fall into this trap again where we just start gossiping and clucking about people, or we just start being nasty and bringing up all of our bad stuff. Like, that is something that you have to really work hard against, right? That if this is a part of your family, then it's in you. Dominique, you said DNA. Man, you can't, what can you do with DNA? You can't
Right.
extract it. It's
Mm-mm.
in you. So the
Yeah.
same characteristics, the same, all this stuff is right there in you.
Yeah.
We have to deny our family nature. It's just like denying your flesh.
Mm-hmm.
You have to deny your family flesh. And you have
Yeah.
to say, I actually don't want to do that. And I want
Yeah.
to do something else. And if I'm being fought so much, if it's just such a big struggle, who can we find in our family that we know has that same spirit? That they too will be the ones fighting, because then there'll be less people going one way and more people going the right way. And then the ones who are going the wrong way, people are like, what's going on? Why are you still stuck in this for 27 years? Why are you still doing this? When, there's another path out, but we stay there. So that it just all circles back to us,
It
that
does.
it's how we navigate it. It's really not about other people and what they're doing. It's how we navigate these situations. Are we mentally balanced enough? Do we have that equilibrium inside of us? And if not, Thanksgiving is coming up, for those who celebrate and those who get all into it. If you haven't reached there yet, there's another 364 days.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're not there yet, we'll give you some leeway. If you're planning to be petty Betty going to your
Yeah.
Thanksgiving, that's fine, because it's coming up. It's Thursday. We're already here. It's Tuesday. I mean, come on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Missed the opportunity. It's a little late, but you could try. But next year, you want to come and show up better. Make a commitment to show up better, because it's up to us. If everybody makes that commitment, and it goes back to the mission statement and vision statement, if everybody makes a commitment to show up better, then these family functions won't be some knockout, drag down fights that make people not want to come around at all.
Yes. Yes. And I mean, I will give you leeway, but what I'm gonna say is, if you can show up, if you say, okay, I know I'm gonna be around family on Thursday, okay,
Yep.
you still got time to make up your mind and say, okay, I'm going to commit
True.
to smiling when I go there. I'm just gonna
Mm-hmm.
smile. I'm just gonna be
Mm-hmm.
smile. Everybody just gonna know. Oh man, I ain't never seen you smile before. It's gonna be a new you because just smile. How about that? Just smile. You ain't got to do, because I think what we do is we try to use the holidays to mend every family trauma that we could possibly
Ever.
dig up, and sometimes, like I think you said it before, we re-traumatize ourselves, because sometimes I mean, there's some things, I'm not gonna lie, you should be over it. I did it six times, right? 7 is the number of completion. For example, if you bring bad mac and cheese to the Thanksgiving dinner, right? If you bring it, right, I could choose to give you another chance, and maybe hopefully next year when you bring the macaroni and cheese, I'm a smile and say, maybe she got better. Maybe
Yeah.
he got better, you know, because some people, that was all they had. All they had was the Velveeta. All they had, all they had was the soggy noodles. All they had was
Overcooked.
a little salt and pepper.
Mm.
That's all they had. And that's okay. That was the love that was felt. And then next time, what I'll do is I'll go to him and say, if you ever need help, because I know times is hard, I don't mind. I
Give you
don't
the
mind.
ingredients.
Yeah, I don't mind getting the ingredient. I'll
Mm.
bring him to you, because maybe that's what it was.
Maybe.
There's always a way. I mean, I believe in the Lord, and there's always
Mm.
a way to
When there's a
mend
will.
things I'm using mac and cheese as a very serious but funny way to bring up the fact that there is always a way. Like if as believers, if we're saying we believe, the Bible says love endures all things, it
Come
hopes
on.
all things. Like love doesn't end, so there's always hope if you're moving in the spirit of love. So if
Mhm.
you really are saying I love my family, there is no, I mean, I understand that some family members you just got to kind of like, y'all doing too much. But for the
Yeah.
most part, to be honest, there are a lot of people that if we just smiled at the Thanksgiving dinner table, someone might move a little different with you.
Yeah.
If you just chose to show up and just be pleasant that day, you can choose to not be pleasant all the other days. But if you gonna show up to the family dinner, choose to be pleasant.
Mm-hmm.
Choose. Like you have that power to choose and say, I'm just gonna say, I'm gonna give it a try and just ask people about how they're doing for once. It's not all about
Mm.
me. Maybe they were having some bad days. Like
Mhm.
you can show up this way. It is a you
Yeah.
thing. Show up
Yeah.
differently. Show up differently.
Mhm.
Because we can't keep saying our people can't keep being held hostage by the past and what hasn't been spoken and what hasn't been talked about. Show up different. Show
Yeah.
up different. And maybe you'll inspire somebody to go to therapy. You'll
That's right.
inspire somebody to sit in somebody else's chair and say, man, I saw therapy really help my cousin. So maybe I could do it too.
Yeah.
Just show up different. Show up different.
Mhm.
Please show up different. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, it's one of those. I guess my pen's in my hand because it's about that time.
Oh,
Um,
we're ready. We're ready.
it's the pen that just popped into the screen. I think based off of what everyone is saying, we good. We got it. Right side up, y'all. Right side up. Um, I think to based off of what we're saying, it sounds like in order to do this right, we have to posture ourselves to give ourselves permission to
Oh,
process
wait a
properly.
minute. Hold on. I wasn't ready. The way you
Posture.
just did that. Hold up. Wait a minute. I wasn't prepared. I'm gonna just write on this $20 bill. All right, come on.
Not the I
It's all
said
right. The $20 need anointing too. All
we
right.
have
Hey. Yeah.
we have to learn how to posture ourselves
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
to give ourselves permission to
Permission.
process properly.
Oh, that was full. Oh, we got full.
Y'all
Process.
need a little extra time today. That was
All
just
Come
right.
on.
Thank you, Lord.
a little
Good.
Every
All right.
round goes higher and higher. Come on.
Thank you,
That's
Lord.
it. That's
That
because
was
it.
good though.
what you're saying
So
is
good.
that if we don't give ourselves permission to process properly, I
Yeah.
can't show up differently. I will
Can't.
Yeah.
always show up the same exact way because I haven't processed through all the things that have happened. I was literally talking to my best friend yesterday or the day before, and I was like, the way that these past 3 months have gone, I didn't realize how differently I was showing up because I didn't
Mm.
process properly. I didn't give
Mm.
myself permission to process because I was like, I got to see what I'm doing with this business, and then I got to show up for church, and then I got to make sure that I'm doing, all of the positions that I have in my life. I got to make sure that I'm doing it right.
Yeah.
All the while, I am showing up very differently because I haven't processed properly. And when I
Mm.
process properly, I can put the things in the proper position. That was a lot of P's. Good
That was
Lord
a lot.
Almighty.
It's all right.
we have to place things in its proper position in order
Yeah.
for us to get through all of the things that we've been carrying and saying like, you know what, family, I love you. Did we always do it right? Absolutely not. Did I have some odds against you? Absolutely right. But like Dominique said, it takes one person to
One.
break up that monotony that we know to be family time and saying like, you know what, y'all, I'm good this year. I'm good. I forgive you. I'm able to move past all the things that has burdened in me after all of these years, and I can show up differently, and I know that you can too. And then don't just leave it at that dinner table. I'm gonna check in with you in 3 more months just
Yes.
to see like how you doing. Let's work on this and building this together, and not just hope that, okay, I said it in Thanksgiving of 2024. Let's see what changes in 2025. You have to actively be a part of that process to change the things, right? Like I'm gonna check in 3 months, and then maybe we're gonna get a cousin's dinner, and we're gonna go out sometime in April, and then maybe I'm gonna spend time. And we're gonna put all the females together, the aunties and the cousins and the babies, put them all together. Are we actively doing anything like that, or are we just like, I mean, I'll see y'all when I see y'all, and on social media, like I'll like your post. That doesn't mean we're connected. That just means we're following each other.
Yeah, absolutely. That was
It's
good.
true. That was very good, and it's a great breakdown, and it's a great understanding of really what we need to be doing. It's the proper, it's we're not just talking about just regular processing. Proper processing means that we are not going to be doing things that could set people back. That when we're showing up to properly process, Dominic, I think you mentioned that like this, we have to make sure that is this the right time to process this? Is this
Right.
is this the right time?
Right.
That we don't come and bring the whole kitchen sink. Or I say I
Right.
stored this up. I got this in my chamber. Proper
Right.
processing is reading the room and making sure that when we go to address this, that enough people are on board that we can say, okay, is this the right time to talk about this? If not, then we're not supposed to plow ahead and go forward, because that's just like, whoa, come on, this is non-consensual processing. Come on now, what's going on?
Yeah.
It's important to really make sure that the proper is there with the processing. So I love that you said that.
Yeah, because it's not a good time to process it if I'm enjoying my macaroni and cheese and my pound cake. Don't
New beginnings. Number 8.
Don't
No,
don't come to me to talk about that. It might not be a good time. We all having a good time. Don't come mess that up. Some people really just got Satan in them. Some people really just let the devil use them. I gotta say this real quick.
They're a vessel.
People just be letting the devil use them. You see the whole family playing Monopoly, eating macaroni and cheese and fried chicken, and you want to come and talk about what happened to you last year. We all passed the fact that they yelled at you because your rice was runny. We passed that. We passed that.
Mushy rice.
We're not talking about it anymore, okay?
Someone feed this child. She's talking about food a whole lot.
Your Thanksgiving meal better be on.
Man, let me tell you something.
Because if someone comes with runny, crunchy rice and bad mac and cheese,
and what's worse? And what's worse than bad food? Your bad attitude having spirit coming in while I'm trying to enjoy the people. Stay over there. Like, read the room. Read the room. If you really are having so much anxiety and you feel like, man, it's just going to be so awkward when I talk to somebody, maybe you can try to use tomorrow to talk to them before Thanksgiving even happens. Bring somebody with you. Say, hey, cousin, would you mind if you talk to me, you and cousin could have a talk, because I don't want it to be awkward. I want us to be able to come together and have a good time. Play some Uno, play some spades, play something. I don't want to wait till that day, because that's how the Bible wants us to do it anyway, right? The Bible say, don't even, you put your gift down and go handle the things that you need to handle with your brother before you even do that, right? So handle these things before. Try to handle them before. I mean, there's ways that we can do this, y'all, but read the room. It may not be the time to process that, but maybe you guys are actually having a good time by way of Monopoly and some good food, and maybe that'll leave room for the next day. And you say, hey, it was so good to see you at Thanksgiving. I wanted to talk to you because we never really got to really squash this, and I felt like we started off really good because we was playing Monopoly and stuff, but I wanted to really have a one-on-one with you and really make sure that we nip this in the bud. We could do that. I'm gonna tell you right now, don't come to me when I'm eating my good food and winning in Monopoly to be like, can I talk to you for a second? No, you can't talk to me for a second. No, you can't. You can't talk to me for a second, because right now I already you can see when you prayed up and you could discern, you'll sniff that spirit from afar. That's just trying to bring chaos. It is our job as the people that are choosing to show up differently this time to not even let that spirit have room. You don't have room at this table. I'm not gonna not come up to the family get together because you want to act crazy. I'm gonna get with the family that's acting right, and you can stay over there. You stay
That's
over
right.
there, and you eat whatever you want to eat by yourself and be miserable. But
That's right.
we are trying to do better. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm sorry I had to say that because some people just be acting
No, it's
thinking,
real. And this is very helpful, especially as we're entering into this holiday season where people are really feeling these feelings and really like, I even show up? Like who are gonna be there? Like you mentioned, like who's gonna be there? Oh,
Mhm.
I don't want to go. But no, if we need to be around our family, we can be. And the reality is this too, like I love that you said you can sniff out that spirit. Like
sniff it up.
if someone's trying to bring something to you, you don't have to engage.
Mhm.
And you brought up a good scenario. You know, family members are gonna talk trash. They're gonna say statements. They're gonna Jermaine, you said it. When you having the baby, when you
Right.
getting married,
Why
when
you
you
ain't
doing
married yet?
yeah. Or what happened to your marriage? Weren't you in school?
Oh,
Or weren't you doing
that's a
this? Or
heavy
what
one.
you but these phrases and the real answer is we do not have to engage. There is no
That's right.
obligation. We have not signed a
Absolutely.
contract that says when
Absolutely.
someone says something to me, I need to say something back.
That's it.
We do not have to engage.
No,
We do
you
not
don't.
have to fall into it because it's
No,
a
you
trap.
don't.
You know, when the Bible speaks about the traps on the ground and then the fowler snare, I always focus on the fowler snare because
Mm.
right when we think we're up to a certain level, right when we think we're in the air above the ground, you get caught in that fowler snare. That's for the birds. The birds aren't really on the ground; they're in the air. You recognize the traps. You get in enough bear traps,
Yeah.
your hand gets caught,
Yeah,
your
that's
ankle
it.
gets caught in enough traps. You say, I don't want to be there anymore.
That's
And
it.
I can sniff out, let me use that phrase, I can sniff out where this is going, that
Mhm.
this is going to hell, and I don't want to go there.
I don't want to
That
go.
I'm getting off.
I
You
don't
can
want
go. You go. And
Yeah.
I'm not going. And it's
to.
really up to us to make that determination. I am looking at our time. I can't believe it. We're already about to be running up on an hour. So
Woo.
I know, woo, woo, woo. I want to give us our final wrap ups and really just encouragement to people who are going through. The day is getting closer. You might feel, like I mentioned before, you might feel a little more anxiety. You might feel, you don't know where this tension or grief is coming from. You might be thinking about what it's going to be when you go to be with your family. So we're trying to help you navigate through this so you can have an amazing holiday season and enjoy your food, because when you're stressed, indigestion comes. You can't even digest your good food. So you've eaten this food and you can't even really enjoy it. So come on, let's wrap it up and encourage the people.
So
Okay.
I don't really know if I have an encouraging
Wait,
thing
did
because
you
we
What?
say you can't digest your food?
No,
listen,
because
her
if you're
food.
stressed, if you're angry, if you're mad, if you're stressed, you're angry, you're anxious, that food is like, yo, what's going on in here? Like, I can't, your
That's
body's
so
not even
true.
working. It's true. You get heartburn. Like, you can't, you eating this good food and you can't even really properly enjoy it because you're stressed, anxious, upset. Like, what? We don't need to do that anymore. That's fine.
We don't just backed up.
Yeah, backed up, belly hurting.
Dominique
Like,
having herself a good old day today, y'all.
but it's true. Your belly's hurting. You're like, oh, I can't really, like, why? Don't do that.
Stress does look like gas in some
Does
ways.
It
For
does.
sure.
it's somatic. The
It
energy
does.
has to go somewhere. The emotions have to go somewhere. So
It
Mhm.
does.
So what I was gonna say,
I'm
ain't
so
got nothing
sorry.
to do with food. Ain't got nothing to do with food. We'll leave that for Dominique's and stuff.
please.
But like as you were talking, it reminded me of this video I was watching. Like I don't know what it is, but eagles, they speak to me. And something that I was watching is there's a story with the eagle and the crow, and how a crow, it got on the eagle's back and it started pecking at it. And instead of the eagle fighting back, all the eagle did was it kept elevating itself. And eventually, eagles can withstand that high altitudes and the thinness of the air. The crow
Mm,
cannot. So all the
mm,
eagle did was elevate itself to the point where the crow eventually couldn't breathe, and then he just fell right
mm.
off. And
That's
that
good.
just reminded me that we spend so much time fighting and arguing and trying to get things off of us. It's like just elevate yourself. And then a lot of this stuff just falls off. And as hard as it is to elevate self when you're weighed down, that's why we talked about do your work. your self-work,
Yeah.
so that you can keep elevating. So then those things that are holding you down, they can't handle the altitudes.
Yeah.
People who are pulling you down, even if it is family member, even if you share the same DNA, they're pulling you down because that means they're beneath you, right? Not necessarily you're too good for them. But some people need you to remain at the level that you're at because you're useful for them there. Elevate yourself, and then you get yourself to a position where those things, they just fall off, and you don't even have to fight. You didn't have to raise a finger. You didn't have to open your mouth. Do what you do. Let God elevate you, and things will fall off.
Yeah,
That
leave
was
those
good.
crusty crow family members and people alone. Like let them let them be who they are.
It's the
And
crusty crow.
we can't crusty crow, and we
Yeah.
can't try to make eagles out of crows. And
That's it.
Good.
we have a
That's good.
desire. Oh, I want you to be an eagle, but if you're a crow, be a crow. And we're gonna have to elevate. So I love that.
Yeah.
What a great
Yeah.
example and analogy.
That is good. That was really good. For me, I encourage you to bring good mac and cheese, because that will indeed, that can change some attitudes. But in all seriousness, I think forgiveness. I think for me, what comes to me right now is forgiveness. You know, I I think we teach all the time, or we are taught all the time, that forgiveness is truly like for us and it's about us. But I've come to understand that forgiveness really is about, it's all about Jesus. Because when I think about the fact that I was once the person that was hurting somebody, or I was once the person that was toxic at one point in time, or I was once the person that was rude or had a bad attitude, or life was just wearing me down, where I was showing up and being a miserable person. Like when I think about the fact that I was once guilty
Mm.
of these things and still am guilty. I'm just
Woo.
the guilty person, and that God just chose, Jesus just chose to die and forgive me for what I've done. It makes me say, man, I have to forgive. Like, who am I
Mm.
to not forgive? Like,
Yeah.
who am I to be like, I'm going to withhold this from you? No mercy. Like, absolutely not. I think that we have to understand that people are growing every day, and it's not just
Yeah.
children. Adults are, our elders are, everyone is growing. If you're here on this earth, you are still growing.
Still
And
growing.
because of that, there has to be room for mercy. There has to be room for the fact that while they're growing, they may say something that may hurt your feelings, and they may do things that may offend. But give that room and let forgiveness show. And what forgiveness really looks like is, that means that when you see this person, you're no longer seeing them as what they have done to you. You're no longer just seeing the situation just enlarged when you see their face, but you see them as a new person.
That's
Because
good.
when Jesus forgives us, he sees us as brand spanking new.
Yes.
When we choose not to see someone for newness, we do really move in the spirit of Satan, because Satan is the accuser of the brother. That's
Hmm.
what he does. He says, did you see what that person did yesterday? Did you see what they did last month? Do you remember what they did last year? That is really a spirit of forgiveness, not letting it go, holding someone to something that they've done in the past, and making them feel that they can never ever escape it. That is not what forgiveness is. So you want to move in the forgiveness. You want to move in a way where you're seeing those family members, whoever, but those family members in a new light. So choose to see them in a new light this Thanksgiving. Like, don't wait until next Thanksgiving. Don't wait until Christmas. You have an opportunity to choose to see them differently. So that's what I think.
Yeah, I love what you both said. And, we had mentioned to the kingdom citizens and to the believers that if we're going to be operating this holiday season, that we make sure that we are operating in the Holy Spirit, like not just talking about it, but being about it, right?
Yeah.
And making sure that we know that the family structure is being destroyed, that our society is creating laws and has had laws for years and decades,
Yeah.
right? That will say, oh, we talked about this, that, oh, there are programs and systems that say, oh, if a father is in the home, then you can't receive these services. We understand that society, that the world is breaking down the
Yeah.
family system. We who are in the kingdom, we who are believers, we too cannot adopt that same mindset. That if the world is saying, "Oh, the family, let's rearrange it and make it into what we want it," we have to set the standard and
Yeah.
keep the family structure intact. And as much as we can help, be at peace.
Yes.
As much as we have to do with it, that's the word, as much as we can do without being a doormat, without taking abuse, as much as we can do, be at peace with our family members. Take your deep breaths. You don't have to be afraid. And if it's not for you, it's not for you. You don't have to force yourself in these traumatic situations. If it's not for you, it's not for you, and that's okay. But
Yes.
try it out and go in peace. Leave all that offense and foolishness at the door and step in with a new, renewed attitude that you're going to have a good time. You're going to enjoy your family.
Yeah.
So that we don't have family feuds and holiday blues. That's
Yes.
not the goal. Okay? That's not the goal. We want to make sure we're having an amazing time with our family. There's not much without a good family, right? Biologically, the chosen family, there's not much that we can do without it. So we want to make sure that we're progressing wonderfully. Thank you to all who were in the comment sections. We appreciate you on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram, and all that. Thank you to those who will watch later on. Please leave your comments. We want to hear what you have to say.
Yes.
Until next episode, we hope that you have an amazing holiday season. Get your good mac and cheese. Get your good.
Get it. Make sure it's good. All right.
Take your naps, okay? Enjoy your family and be at peace with yourself and others, because that's how you can navigate the holiday season. Bye.
Yay.
Happy holidays.
Bye.